Jennifer. Oh, Jennifer, to introduce yourself. I know we had the recording in progress came on.
Yes, thank you, Marie. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here this afternoon. We're excited to get started with the sharing session. I'm Jennifer Blanchard. I'm a board member and committee member also for AALPD. I'm a senior instructional designer with EDSI, and my role currently is serving as the project manager and designer for the state of Michigan's adult ed in providing quality PD and facilitation. And with that, I am going to pass it over to Jackie.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Coringle, and I'm glad to be here. I'm a new member to the AALPD, and I had a great time planning this with our folks, and I'm looking forward to the session.
And Susanna.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Susanna Lee. I am an Associate Director for Adult Education for the state of Kansas, and I am also a new AALPD board member. This has been a really exciting group to work with. We have a great session, I think, and looking forward to hearing all of your thoughts and input. So thank you all for joining, and I'll turn it back to Marie.
Thanks, everyone. I probably should say that I am in Rhode Island. I am the professional development coordinator for the state here in Rhode Island. So next slide. So we have a few very exciting activities for us today. We are going to start with some breakout rooms. We're going to be offering 3 different opportunities to talk about 3 different AALPD sessions that were held in the latter part of this year. So we'll start off with some breakout discussions. We're going to move into a whole group discussion on some focus questions for you. And if we have time, we are going to do some tech tips at the end, but we are a bit of a large group and we do have a little bit of an agenda, so we'll see. And then we are going to make sure that we get your thoughts on a future focus or focuses for our PD sessions that we will offer in the coming year, and then we'll close. So that is our agenda for today. Next slide. Okay, so throughout today, we will be using a Padlet. Yes, actually, thank you so much for the people who are introducing themselves in the chat. And I apologize that I didn't encourage you all to do that. So while we are introducing our session, feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. Again, we are using a Padlet throughout today. So I encourage you to point your phone at the QR code to open up this Padlet. And yep, it's going to be used in all of the activities, or at least half the activities we have today. And I'll just pause really for just 1 second. Everybody able to open that Padlet?
And Jennifer did put the link in the chat also. So if you would rather use your computer rather than getting out your device to scan the QR code, please check for that. Thank you,
Thank you, Susanna. And thanks to everyone who's introducing themselves. We got a great group today. Okay. All right, next slide. Okay, so our first activity for today, we are going into 3 different breakouts. Now, they are focused on, the topic is focused on the particular AALPD sharing sessions we had from June, was on non-linear learning in professional development. From September, trying something new in PD. And then our October webinar looked at 3 different adult education PD models. If you had attended one of these sessions, it would be great if you entered that room so that you could share your thoughts on what was offered in that session. However, if you see that another breakout room has a burning topic that you really, really want to engage in, of course, feel free to enter that breakout room, okay? While we're in our breakout rooms, you can see that there are sort of 3 main three main prompts for our discussions. And each one of these topics does have a Padlet. There will be a facilitator in each one of the breakout rooms, and they will take notes, but everyone's encouraged to add to the Padlet, okay? Okay, questions? Okay, so Sarah is going to generate 3 breakout rooms for us. And again, if you have, if you've already seen one of these webinars, it'd be awesome for you to come into that room and talk about it. And if not, you have something that you really want to see, then please feel free to go to that one. All right, and we will see you there.
And if anybody needs help getting into a room, I am happy to help you.
Okay. All righty.
Okay, I will go ahead and so I don't know how everybody else was in their groups. I do apologize to my group. We got cut off. Erin was in the middle of speaking, but I think I did get your main points on the Padlet, Erin. Thank you for sharing. So hopefully everyone was able to engage in some good conversation surrounding these PD offerings that took place. I am going to just kind of pull over the Padlet really quick and just wanted to remind everybody, this is guiding our session. So I do see here in nonlinear learning and PD, we have lots of great comments here. Wow, a lot of note taking in that one. Very good. So it looks like everybody utilized this, which is great because we can all go back later and take a look at some of the comments that were made that were related to this PD. And I just want to emphasize that at the bottom of each of these columns on the Padlet, for your convenience, are the recordings of these workshops. So if you were in a similar boat like we were and trying something new in PD, we had a lot of, which is really awesome. If you don't mind me sharing first, we had a lot of new people in our breakout room. So it was fabulous because we were able to get some fresh insights and kind of talk about the PD that we offer. So it was very exciting. And yeah, as Susanna also pointed out in the chat, please feel free to continue adding your thoughts. This Padlet will live. It's not going to expire after our session ends today. So if you ran out of time and you would like to share your experiences, either during the webinar or how you've applied techniques after the webinar, and also, what would you like to see further on that topic? What other resources would you like to see? Anything like that, feel free to share. So before we quickly move on into whole group discussion, I would like to open the floor. Is there any group that would like to share any highlight from your breakout session, something that you really just would love to let everybody else know about? Feel free to unmute or share it in the chat.
I don't mind sharing something that I hadn't considered before, because when we talked about, I was in the group for nonlinear learning in PD, and my thought when I first entered was, okay, this means that it's not necessarily sequenced, right? However, the focus was on micro learning, and micro learning is something short. It's just a little nugget, you get it, and then you go. And we have a tendency to do things that are a little longer. So this is a concept that I know about, but I would be interested to think about how that could be implemented in what we do in our state.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing that, Carla. Yeah, it's like one aspect, right, of focusing on transference, and we're starting to realize like this is a great opportunity of how we can expand learning, right? Or even prep for learning if we're leading into something heavier. So there's a lot of great opportunities for that. What I would say to that, if you don't mind, I think it would be fantastic also if you all have time later and you have knowledge of, micro learning or other strategies on transference, even if you weren't in that breakout room, please feel free to add your thoughts to the Padlet in that area, because we're all coming with a wealth of knowledge and experience. So even if you weren't in a particular room and you have an idea that could help someone, even as they're starting to explore a new technique, feel free to share because that's what it's all about today. So thank you, Carla. Is there anyone else who would like to share? I guess we can spend like maybe one to two more minutes here, Marie.
Yeah. Anybody from my group want to just say what we talked about, which aligns with with the other comment, actually?
Mhm.
I can do that.
Great.
This is Jacqueline, and we talked a little bit about the value of knowing the different models that are in different states and how that can, at the very least, lead to dialogue among ourselves in our state and how we might deliver differently, just little bits that can be popcorned off of, and how we would like to try some new things. Micro learning was one of the topics that we had talked about as well, and how to really start applying that and using that as a way to get attention to a topic and elaborate on further in different formats.
Awesome.
Yeah, we also brought up, or members in our group also brought up wanting to explore podcasts, which our friends in New Mexico are doing. Yeah.
Love that. I'd be interested in hearing more about that too. I'll be exploring that later. That's something I have not tried, but has been piquing my interest. Okay.
Jennifer and Marie, do you mind if I just mention,
Please.
hi, my name is Sarah Goldhammer, and I would love to encourage any of you, if you're doing something in your state, like Marie just talked about how they're doing podcasts in New Mexico. If you're doing something like that, we'd love to hear about it. I mean, that's, besides putting it on this Padlet, which we want you to do, we'd love for you to reach out and say, hey, this is something that I could share with others. And don't worry, we won't put you on the spot, but if you're willing to come on, even like a sharing session or a short video of what you're doing or something, there's lots of options for ways that you can share. So please keep that in mind.
And I would love to give a shout out to a couple of states. Illinois has started a really interesting teacher exchange this year that provides many different opportunities for instructors to engage in professional development at the times and using the methods that work best for them. So Illinois, we'd love to hear more about that at some point. And Arizona is working on has launched some badges with different ways to achieve those badges, which also sounds really fascinating. So one of the major concepts that came up in our group was autonomy, that giving educators choice in how and when and what they learn, which is a way to model what we are doing for our adult learners also. And so those are some great examples of those states that are doing some unique things.
Okay. Well, Marie, I'm going to thank you, Susanna and Sarah. I'm going to pass it actually over to Susanna. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Jennifer. So we just wanted to shift into kind of we've talked about things that we've been looking at in the past. So where are we right now? We're about halfway through our fiscal year, through our program year. So thinking right now about the challenges that we're encountering, and then of course we're going to ask you about things that you're excited about. So for right now, what challenges are you currently encountering? What's your biggest question? When we think about developing professional development and delivering that to our adult educators, what are the challenges that you're facing? And what are you thinking about? What are you wondering about? So I would love for people to come off mute and share. Jackie has very graciously agreed to take some notes for us on the Padlet to kind of capture that. So feel free to come off mute, or if you prefer to put things in the chat, feel free to do that as well.
Hi, it's me again. I wanted to jump in before, everybody floods the microphone. So my observation is that we are very responsive to what the field asks us for. So when we're out there and they're saying, hey, we're having some trouble with X. Can you help us with X? And we're like, okay, no problem. We got you covered. Hey, we're having some problems with Y. Can you help us with Y? You bet we can. We're there. However, when it comes down to things that are beyond what's necessary or mandatory, that's when we have a little bit more trouble with folks engaging with what's actually there. So we might have 10 great, awesome things available in our LMS, but then a person will say, hey, I need help with W. And then we're like, we have 3 trainings on W. Why I didn't see it. So it comes down to this place of trying to condition people to go and find the things that they need because it's actually there, as opposed to just not even realizing that it's totally there. It's there. We put it there. We indexed it. It's there. So if anyone has any sorts of tips, tricks on on helping the folks to really understand the resources that are available and actually go and access them, that would be so super awesome. But also on top of that, to just make it like a part of what they normally do, because this is even more so an issue when we're working with folks who are already part-time and they're not going to necessarily think in their free 30 minutes, let me go do a training. Like, I understand that. Nevertheless, if anyone has any tips, tricks, ways to make that happen, that would be great.
That's fantastic, Carla. Thank you for sharing. Yes, it sounds like if it's not required, first of all, then some people might not just automatically go to it. And then even if it's there, once they realize they need it, they might not think to go look and find it and ask, well, don't you have anything? Well, yes, we did this for you, but making that a habit of checking somewhere. Yes, and we have the same thing in Kansas also. So yes, if someone has experienced success with getting that ingrained as a habit, especially for those part-time individuals, please feel free to share. And I do see some comments in the chat. In Vermont, we are trying to deliver some training on AI tools. Awesome. Once our AI guidance is developed, we will likely run a brief webinar on that guidance.
Cool.
Wonderful, Linda. We would love to see what you come up with and hear how it goes, and maybe so that's something that you could share with other states. Many ESL students are choosing to attend online class rather than in person, but there are many teachers who hesitate to teach virtually or think it can't be done effectively. We need to help them think differently about online instruction, support them as they try it. Absolutely. That continues to be a challenge, especially as others have said, with those part-time instructors. They maybe only work a few evenings a week, for example, helping them reframe and learn something new. That can seem really daunting. Love that. Thank you for those ideas. Any other challenges? Sorry, go ahead, Marie.
I'll just say that, Carla, I feel your pain. So we have the same issue, and I'm going to just assume that this happens with a lot of programs. Um, for the short answer to you is repeat, repeat, repeat. We also have materials advertised and available in multiple ways. You can access and learn about materials on a linear spreadsheet. You can watch a video. You can attend webinars. You can do combinations. Yeah. And just recently, I have really briefly, I have started to put all kinds of agendas and notes on our website, and I make people go there and find them. Rather than come to the meeting, I'm going to put the notes in the chat for you. I make them go to the website and find where they're posted so that people can start. And I don't, it's not mean. I get to the meeting and I walk them through it. So I don't want to take too much more time, but multiple ways to access, multiple ways to help people do what they need to do. Videos are great. And then it's repeat, 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 and working with programs. So I don't have any easy fix. What do others do?
And I love what you said, Marie, about offering those different opportunities, those different types of opportunities. And that in itself is kind of a reframing of you can do it this way, you can do it that way. And for certain types of thinkers, that might seem overwhelming at first. Like, what do I have to do this and this and this and which one do I do first? And that having that many choices maybe is overwhelming. So kind of so that's a good question also is how do we introduce that and how do we support different types of thinkers as they are encountering nonlinear learning to so you have these choices because it's going to be based on what's best for you. So something else to think about. We've had some more comments in the chat. We have a PD newsletter and a PD catalog. Love that. Try to get all the PD info in one place. Yes, that is fantastic. And still questions. Yes, of course.
And I also put in the chat for those persons that are challenged with busy schedules and meeting their PD hours that are required or needed. We have offered what we call lunchtime bites, where we have broken up some of the sessions into a series of 1 hour over the lunchtime so that they are still getting in. So if it's a 3 hour a presentation or something, just sort of breaking that up or offering something that is a smaller session so that they can sort of calculate their hours that way as a way to get more people into trainings and trying to work around some of those schedules, especially with the part timers who are juggling jobs and other responsibilities and they still need to meet their hours.
Love that, Catherine. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, that those lunch bites, that's so fun. That micro training, absolutely. Breaking it up, making it more accessible. Thank you. I wonder if anyone has done anything similar for those part-time individuals that maybe work primarily in the evenings. Has anyone tried doing a dinner bites sort of thing, or something that might be a lot of times those of our a lot of our teachers who work in the evenings maybe have even more limited time if they're coming from a full-time job, for example. So I'm curious if anyone has tried anything similar or has ideas for some of those part-timers that maybe work primarily in the evenings.
Haven't called it dinner. I'm sorry to jump in. I apologize. I was just going to say, Susanna, we haven't called it dinner bites. I think that's cute. Thank you for that. But we have offered some evening trainings. And so whomever was going to speak, please go ahead. I'm sorry. I just jumped right in.
No, thank you, Catherine. That was wonderful. Yes, and please go ahead.
I was just going to say, we have not tried this. However, when I was talking to some of the PD folks from our K-12 section, they said they were doing PD and PJs, and it was on Saturdays, and it was just something short and simple that they were doing that people could do from home. It's not something we've tried yet, but
Okay, if you do, we need screenshots. I love it. PD and PJs, fantastic. We also do a monthly PD newsletter in Vermont. That's wonderful. All of you who are doing these newsletters, I'm very interested and would be interested if you would share some of those. Maybe if you would, in the Padlet, if you would be willing to upload an example of your newsletters. I'm very interested in those. That sounds exciting. I curate the opportunities, needs to be free, or yes, put a $ if it's going to be fee-based. Late afternoon is usually a great time for PD for a lot of programs that after K-12 school ends, but before evening classes starts. Yep, recording webinars to make sure that workers can access them in the LMS just whenever they have time. Yes, loving the PD and PJs. And Marie says you have a YouTube channel, wonderful. A weekly newsletter. Wow, that's impressive. Doing that weekly. Great. Again, if you would share an example as newsletters, that's wonderful. Okay, Susan, interesting comment that you actually do it twice to reach different audiences. Would you like to say a little bit more about that?
I don't think there's anything really magic about that, but that's when they are available. So I just make myself available. The prison staff often have some special conditions too that they have to deal with the lack of internet access that they have. And so some of their issues are a little bit different. So it pays to differentiate a topic if I'm teaching about or doing a session teaching adults to read. They're going to have some things in common, but there are going to be some things that are different as well. So same topic, but different approach and different times. And I'm the one that has to be flexible because that's just when they're available.
Thank you. Love that. Absolutely. Just being flexible to meet needs.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's something I can connect with too. What we do in Michigan, we tend to, when we offer PDs or webinars, we'll typically offer it on a Wednesday and a Friday. And we usually do like a 3 o'clock on a Wednesday and then maybe an 11 on a Friday. So we try to offer different days along with different times to better fit some schedules.
So interesting. I'm just putting, Fridays would never fly with the Rhode Island crowd. So interesting, right?
Just, different states and different programs. So we've already kind of started moving into this question, so I'd like to continue talking about this, some of the things that you're doing. But what are the things that you're really excited about? So maybe it's something new, or maybe it's something that you've been doing, but it's going really well. What are some successes that you've seen with your PD delivery? And again, please feel free to come off mute, or okay. Yes, if you can email me, we can certainly upload that to the Padlet. That would be great. Thank you. So what are some things that you're excited about, and what successes have you had? Feel free to put in the chat or come off mute. Texas has webinars. I love these. That's Manager Mondays for managers.
Ooh,
Yes.
love
Teacher
that.
Tuesdays for teachers. Workforce Wednesdays. I am loving that. I might steal those. I just love alliteration there. So thank you for those ideas. It allows exchange of ideas, strategies for people working in the same roles. So kind of miniature communities of practice that are convening. Love that. Oh, thank you for all of those that are sharing your newsletters. I really appreciate that. I'll be interested to look through those. Learning from other teachers across the state. Yes, love that. What else is exciting in your PD worlds right now?
I'm wondering if someone from Illinois can say more about the teacher exchange that someone, I think you mentioned that, Suzanne, that was
I did, yes. And
discussed in your breakout. Yeah.
I don't want to put Anita on the spot, but if
Yeah. I'm just curious to hear more about that.
It's funny you say that because I was going to make Sarah be on the spot, but so just very briefly, it's a year-long, it's called the teacher exchange, and the whole idea is to get teachers learning from each other, talking to each other, and not siloed. So we surveyed them as a field, got their topics of interest, and then monthly we're doing a cadence of a let's learn and a let's share. So every other month we offer some sort of delivery of content, and we always make an asynchronous version available as well as a live. And then the following month is a let's share, and they have applied something they've learned at the let's learn, and they come and talk to each other. We use a lot of breakout rooms in Zoom. We offer it evening and day to try to hit that availability. And then we also have our Moodle course where there are opportunities for discussion posts and Padlets and other ways for them to engage. So this is new to us this year, but we feel like it's very exciting. We've had a lot of engagement, and we are trying to provide as many different ways for them to participate as possible at times that are convenient to them. And we're letting them talk to each other and seeing a lot of application of what they've learned. So that's been very exciting.
Thanks. That sounds really exciting.
That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Sarah, is there anything that you wanted to add to that?
So Anita did a fantastic job, as she always does, talking about teacher exchange. I'm just going to add one little nugget on, and it is a nugget, because we had a Padlet and we asked teachers to share some of their exciting new practices or tried and true old practices, and maybe how they're adjusting them a little bit based on some new information they've heard. And so we said that's our gold mine, and there's the nugget. And so that was a great place also to disseminate information in other ways. We had a lot of asynchronous options for them. In addition to the live that Anita talked about, we made sure that there was for the Let's Learn, there was an asynchronous way that they could join and get the information. Because as everybody's been talking about, we've got to meet our teachers, are our learners, and we've got to meet them where they are and find a way to be able to work that. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And it's been fun also because teachers love talking and they love talking to each other. And so that has been the best part about it, is them uplifting each other. And sometimes people will say something like, I'd like to do blah, but I don't not necessarily know how. And somebody else is like putting something in or putting it into AI and saying, here's an answer. So like there's just been a lot of things that have happened organically that we could have never even imagined, all of the ways that they were going to interact.
It's amazing collaboration. Thank you for sharing, Sarah. I'm seeing some great things in the chat, digital badges, more flipped PD. That's fantastic. Training specific to correctional teachers. That's wonderful. There's a lot, there's not as much training out there, it seems like, that's available for that specific space. So that's wonderful. We do have a couple more things that we want to do yet today. So is there anything that anyone would like to share related to these two questions, challenges, or things that you're excited about before we move forward?
If I could, just one more thing to say. One of our Manager Mondays, we opened up the floor, and Teacher Tuesday, but mostly our Manager Mondays, we opened up the floor for those persons that are running those literacy and learning centers to share their ideas. You know, if we're struggling with something, but you have mastered it in your area, you know, how are you doing that? So that I don't find myself struggling with something that maybe Maria or Anita or Jonathan has an answer to, and that could help me out. And it also allows me to be able to reach out to them and contact them and exchange information, so that I can say, hey, Jonathan, how are you able to, I heard you in that, you know, Manager Monday, how is it that you're able to accomplish this? Could you elaborate a little bit more and share your ideas with me? Basically, can you help me? So we've sort of dedicated a session specifically for that.
Thank you, Catherine. That's wonderful. Having those thought partners alongside, as Sarah mentioned, that collaboration, but then being able to follow up and say, Could I get some more help with that, or could you talk me through that? Thank you. That's wonderful. So appreciate everyone's contributions. Please feel free to continue. And thank you, Jackie, for continuing to put the notes on the Padlet. Appreciate all of your work there. Feel free for others to continue to put things on the Padlet. And I will turn it over to Marie to talk about what comes next.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Okay, so that was a great discussion. I got a lot of good ideas out of it, and I hope you all did too. So we're going to switch gears and now talk about the future. Although with this recent discussion, there are lots of great topics that we can pull from to put some more formal opportunities together for people going forward. So you can either point your phone at this particular QR code, or if someone can kindly put that in the chat. Thank you, Susanna. It's a short poll. We would love for you to respond to the question, what resources do you currently find most value in that AALPD offers? So if you can open that Padlet up again.
And Marie, I don't want to take much time away because I'm looking, I know we're limited. But knowing that in our breakout set, at least in our breakout session, Astra, we had some new faces and new people here, which is fantastic. I wonder if this would be a great time. And David, I don't want to put you on the spot, but this poll includes information about our offerings, one being Groups IO. Would you mind just giving us a brief introduction to that, David?
Sure. Very quickly, this is an online asynchronous community of practice. And I think we have maybe 30 or so members at this point. But all AALPD members are welcome to join. And they can join by emailing me. And I'll put my email in the chat in just a minute. It has a number of topics at this point, and it's possible to add new topics at any point. And in fact, I would really love it if more participants in the discussion group would add new topics, maybe questions that they have, or maybe aha experiences, or maybe challenges that you're facing and you're wondering if others are facing the same challenges and if they have some strategies that might be useful for you to use, things like that. So because it's asynchronous, people can put in their questions or whatever they'd like to say at any time of day, any time of year. And I hope some of the people who are here who have been interested in that kind of opportunity will join. So as I said, I'll put my email in just a moment.
Thank you so much, David. Appreciate it. Sorry for putting you on the spot.
No problem.
And could I just say that in addition to answering the poll question, feel free also to add comments there in that little yellow box on the Padlet of if there's something else in addition to those options that you find really helpful, or you want to make an additional comment about one of those options, please feel free to do so.
Okay, I see that people are voting. If you scroll down on that Padlet after you voted, and yes, I will repeat Susanna's encouragement to add your comments. If you scroll down, you can also add a comment about what topics you would like us to address going forward. And if there's any topics that you yourself are able to present on. We'd love to hear from you. And there's huge support here to help you share in a webinar, if that makes you a little nervous. The four of us are doing that right now together here today. So I encourage you. I've already heard such really, really interesting, different kinds of ideas in here. So I encourage you to think about presenting at an upcoming webinar. Or again, as Sarah mentioned earlier, you can do a short video and send it in. You can use Groups IO and share your ideas and your materials in the Groups IO. That's a brilliant place to do that as well. Great. I see AI guidelines and policies. Yes. Ooh, an asynchronous. I'm looking at the comments in the Padlet right now that are down under ideas. And Jennifer has just put in that, oh, it's from Daniel, working on synchronous online learning boot camp, hoping to release it in the spring. Daniel, did you want to just say one or two words about that? That sounds, what's the boot camp going to look like?
We do basically two kinds of asynchronous credentials in North Carolina that are instructor facilitated. This will be only 5 weeks long with 1 hour where they meet with the instructor facilitators, and then about 3 hours worth of work they do during the week. And we give them a fancy credential that says that they completed this, but we're working specifically on this because of the ESL student problem and so many teachers needing help figuring out how to make their classes engaging. So it's specifically about online synchronous, not asynchronous, but the class we're teaching will be asynchronous mostly.
Yeah.
But we have a couple of teachers at the community college in Raleigh, which is one of our big metropolitan areas, who are really good at this, who are going to be the facilitators.
It sounds really exciting.
Yeah, we're excited. And hopefully it comes out soon. We had ice here recently.
Yeah. Couple other things in the chat. I see Daniel's post is in the chat. Linda, sort of off topic, but would like to know how other states are compensating for the loss of links. I used to work for links, and I am one person in our state doesn't have an LMS. Would anybody like to comment? It's 3:55. We have 5 more minutes. There are a couple of other items in the chat, but would anyone like to respond to Linda at all?
I just wondered, is that true? I was on links yesterday and a lot of it works.
No,
Yes.
I was gonna say, yeah, everything that is archived on links almost everything is still there. So you can access past discussions, you can search for those discussions, you can search for resources.
Yep.
It's
there are a lot
there,
of
it's just not maintained anymore.
No.
And there are
And
no
there are
live
no people
discussions.
delivering, right? There's
Yeah.
no one.
There's no facilitated training. I think it's 1 or 2 clicks deep, and then you get 504 messages or 404 messages, whatever they are. And we downloaded all of it, but without an LMS to upload it into. I can't even facilitate those. And in our PD manual, we required several of those courses, TEAL, all of that stuff. So anyway, we don't need to go into that now. 4 minutes, 3 minutes left. So just food for thought, something to think about, because it's just me.
Yeah.
Well, no, I would say it's not just you. I mean, I would like to make a note of maybe having this type of question going forward, because Links did provide a lot of training for people. And so I'm sure people are looking elsewhere. I'm with you, Linda. So, yeah, and our few minutes doesn't, right, sounds like a topic, Marilyn. Last couple things to look at, and then I'm going to pass it over. David, excited about National Professional PD. Oh, yes, the Open Door Collective. So please take a look at David's post in the chat, which the Open Door Collective is one resource that you can go to without links being there, or at least full links not being there anymore. Okay, so yep, good topics for the future. So before we close, I would like to pass the moment to Marilyn for 1 minute. She is going to make a bit of an announcement about what's coming up. And thank you so much, Marilyn, for sharing.
We're excited, and hopefully look on some of the ideas. Hopefully other people will be excited about this too. But my team in Arizona, we're going to be hosting a tech tool playground in January. That's what we call it, a way to upskill your presentations using technology. This is really going to be a time to explore, try new tools. So this is definitely a session where you're going to want to try some things out. We're hoping to have 3 different spaces for you to work in. One on generating fictional student data that you can use in presentations using AI resources. A tool called Diffit, which helps create leveled differentiated resources. It's really great when working with teachers and multi-leveled classrooms. And then another one looking at Padlet, which I know is a tool we use today, but looking at kind of all those really amazing interactive features that they've added recently, and a lot of those new AI features in Padlet. So I hope you'll come check it out. And again, it's a good time to just kind of explore, try something new, and kind of look at maybe a presentation you're doing in a new way.
Awesome. Thank you, Marilyn. In the chat, Daniel, could you use things from other states? I believe that Illinois allows anyone to take their courses. This is regarding the links question. So yes, I just want to thank Marilyn again. I hope that you get excited about the topic for our January session. So really excited for the Tech Tool Playground coming up. Okay, so we are at 3:59. And I thank you all again for being here. Are there any last comments? Okay, Sarah.
So I just wanted to thank everybody for coming and for sharing today, and specifically for the great work you do. And I also wanted to thank Marilyn and her team from Arizona for stepping up to do the January Tech Playground. I can't wait for that. We have a tentative date of January 21st, and I believe it's going to be at 12 noon Eastern time. But that's because Marilyn is coordinating with all of her team. We'll get that registration out in the next few days before the holidays, so that you can make sure that you reserve a spot and you want to come and join that. And I think they have some fun different ways to share with you as well. So you won't want to miss it.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for all your participation. It was great to see you all. I hope everyone has a safe and pleasant holiday season. And we're going to see you here in January for the Tech Tool Playground. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Marie.
Take care all.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.